Welcome back to another explainer. I'm so glad you're here today because we're jumping straight into some pretty massive breaking news hitting the pharmaceutical world. We're looking at a sudden corporate move that's causing ripples across borders and impacting real people. Specifically, we're talking about Pfizer's abrupt halt of a very specific product right in the Indian market. Today, we're going to break down exactly what happened, why it happened, and what this whole situation reveals about our global supply chains.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with Pfizer's sudden halt, move on to understanding Premarin, then dive into the supply chain challenge, look at the impact on India, and finally, wrap up by looking ahead. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Pfizer's sudden halt. So you've got to ask yourself, why would a massive pharmaceutical giant just suddenly halt sales of a specific product in a major market like India? I mean, when an industry titan like Pfizer makes a decisive, hard stop like this, it's a huge red flag that they've hit a serious operational wall. The news here is super straightforward, but man, is it impactful. Pfizer has officially suspended all sales of Premarin Vaginal Cream in India. And just to be clear, we aren't talking about some slow, phased-out drawdown here. This is a hard stop, a total freeze in one of the world's most dynamic healthcare markets. Moving right along to Section 2, Understanding Premarin. So, the actual product at the center of this whole halt is Premarin Vaginal Cream. And it's a big deal because its sudden absence creates this immediate gapping void for the patients and the healthcare providers who literally rely on it every day. This isn't a broad sweep. It's a highly targeted disruption focused squarely on just this one specific offering inside Pfizer's massive portfolio. That brings us to Section 3, the supply chain challenge. Now, what's really fascinating is the official reasoning Pfizer gave for this abrupt action. It's just 3 little words, citing supply challenges. But let me tell you, in the heavily regulated world of global pharma, that tiny phrase carries immense weight. It basically shines a massive spotlight directly onto the cracks in global logistics. So let's actually break down that corporate phrasing. What does it really mean? Well, it points to a few harsh realities. First, there's a severe disruption in their standard logistics. Second, it means an outright inability to consistently stock the product on shelves. And finally, when you just can't guarantee a steady stock, the only responsible move for a company is an immediate halt to sales. I mean, at the end of the day, you simply can't sell what you can't reliably supply, right? Let's look at how this plays out on the ground in Section 4, Impact on India. For the Indian healthcare sector, the before and after contrast is just stark. We've shifted instantly, like flipping a switch, from standard, everyday availability and active distribution right to an absolute halt. It's a totally binary shift, driven entirely by those supply hurdles we just talked about. It really goes to show how one single broken link can pull an entire product right out of a major market. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, looking ahead. The ultimate takeaway here, the real lesson, is that even incredibly well-resourced giants like Pfizer face profound logistical vulnerabilities. It's wild to think about, but local markets can lose access instantly just because of global hurdles happening half a world away. So looking forward, the future availability of Premarin in India remains completely tied to whether or not they can resolve these super complex background challenges. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. If a true titan like Pfizer is forced to suddenly halt a product's sales purely due to supply chain issues, just how fragile are these unseen global networks that we rely on for our healthcare every single day? It's honestly an incredible reminder of just how interconnected and maybe a bit vulnerable our modern world truly is. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.